Like, it was so many emotions at one time. All I knew up front was I need to call the cops, and I already knew who did it. Part 2. So, I got upstairs. Like I was saying, he was knocking on the door. Like, I was scared. It was me and my dog. So, like I was saying, we was packing her stuff and a few other things. I went to my daughter's room. The way our townhome is built, the front window, I could see diagonally where he was parked. He went back to his car. I stayed up there. It was like a Lifetime movie, y'all. It really was like a Lifetime movie. And I was standing by the window, and I was like, dang, I hope he about to leave. Is he about to leave or whatever? He eventually left. I just went ahead and gathered my things, got in my car, drove off. I didn't say anything to my mom about it. Didn't say anything to my dad about it. I went to the house. We were over there. It was, like I said, it was Labor Day weekend. And we were having a cookout over there. We was eating food, all that stuff. Fast forward. We came home, came back to the house or whatever. I went to sleep. The next morning, I woke up. I told my daughter, hey, I'm about to go run some errands. Anyway, I think it was Sunday. It was the next day, and I had to run errands. So I told my daughter, I'm about to run some errands. So I opened the front door. I told her to lock the door behind me. So at this time, I had a small car, small four-door car. I'm looking at my car. I'm like, my car look a little lopsided for some reason. So I go out and I go walk. You know how you take a look around your car? I walk around my car and I walk all the way around and say, okay, the first two tires, the passenger side and the rear tire look good. I kept going around. My back tire of the driver's side and my front tire was flat all the way down. I didn't know whether to cry, to scream because I was mad, or what to do. I did not know what to do. Now, ladies, let me tell you something. Like, when you're talking to a guy, you're getting to know them. This is what you need to get to know. I knew his first name. I knew his last name, his date of birth, what kind of car he drove. I knew where he lived. I knew where he worked. All that information helped me in this next part that I'm about to tell y'all about. So that particular day, it was like the day after Labor Day. So I was thinking everything was closed. So the first thing I did was take pictures. Because it looked like it was a deep hole, like someone stabbed it. Not just it was like a stab with a knife or something. So, so like I said, I took pictures and everything. I called the cops. I told the cops what happened and what I think happened. They said they were on their way. They're sending someone over. So they sent someone over, and the cop, he got all my information, and he was like, who do you think could do this? And I was like, this guy I was talking to named Brian. I just cut him off a few days ago, and what I'm saying, he been trying to call me. He came to my house the other day. He was knocking on the door real loud, trying to get in, and I wouldn't answer the door. He saw my car. He knew my car was here, but I didn't open the door. And he was like, oh, how long? He's getting basic information, basically like how long I've been talking to him, like what area does he stay in, the regular stuff like that. And I'm sorry, y'all, if I seem like I'm a little hyper because I'm reliving it. And so I was like giving him all the information, and he was like giving me a card. He was like, hey, you need to go down to the magistrate and let them know so you can like try to get like some kind of protective order or restraining order on this guy. And I was like, okay. And at this time, I didn't have no way down there. So I think it was like a day or two before I could get down there. I want to say it was the next day. I went ahead and got and paid for tires because I cannot wait for 2 tires or whatever. But I kept my receipts. I do remember that. I kept my receipts for that. Like I said, I took pictures of my back tire and my front driver's side tire. And I kept that because I was basically building a case. But I made my way down to the courthouse. He was like, they're open. It doesn't matter. They're open through holidays or whatever. Go down there. Tell them all your information. Tell them what you know, basically. So, boom. Fast forward. I drove down there to the courthouse or whatever. I made it to the magistrate. I had to actually wait because, I don't know, you got to follow protocol. Went in there. I filled out an application. Basically, they filling out all the information that you know. I was telling all the information about him. I put everything down, what he did, the incident, and everything, and how it all came about. So I think they called me into this little room, and like basically they just ran down like what happened, and basically I told my story, what happened, and hey, he slashed my tires because I cut him off and I only known him for 3 months, and you know he went over the information that I had submitted and everything. And he was like, well, we can't do a protected or a restraining order because this is the first time that he's done this before. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I get it or whatever, but like, I'm scared because like he slashed my tires. Like, that's what I'm afraid of. Like, how I know he's not gonna come back or something like that. So I couldn't do a protective order. I couldn't do a restraining order or whatever. And I just remember him giving me a copy of like what I had submitted in, and I had left, and they told me I'll be receiving something in the mail. I think court didn't happen until November. Yeah, court didn't happen until November. But let me give you a backstory. A little girl, I'll never forget, came across the street and she was like, I need to talk to you about something. And I was like, yeah, what's going on? And she was like, I saw him do it. And I'm like, I don't even want to get these little kids involved and stuff like that. So we're going to call her Brittany. She lived across the street in my same area in my townhome complex or whatever. And she came across the street. I guess her mom gave her permission to come over and tell me. She's like, I saw him. He parked his car diagonally from your car. And I remember someone telling me like they were out there that night before and they had seen someone running from my car to their car. And she was like, yeah, she seen him. He was kind of heavy set. And she said, I heard him when he stabbed the back tire and the front tire. And, but I didn't want to get in it because, she's just a child. She's about 13, 14 years old or whatever. And I was like, I understand. And she's like, I just wanted to tell you what happened and what I saw, even though I couldn't use her as a witness because I know her mom and them or parents wouldn't allow me to. But I'm glad they allowed her to come over there and tell me what happened or whatever. So after that had went down, of course, I told my brothers what happened or whatever. And they asking all these questions and what happened and, how you know him and, basic this stuff that, your brothers would ask you if something had happened or whatever. So fast forward, it's time for court or whatever. The day of court, I was so freaking nervous. Like, I was so scared. What did I wear that day? I had heels on that day, open toe shoes, and I had on a nice straight dress or whatever, bodycon dress. But of course it was appropriate for court. And I was looking for the court, because on the docket it have like, your name and the court case or whatever. So I found where my case, what courtroom I needed to go into. And I went down there and I sat there and was waiting for, I guess, they let you come in a certain time or whatever, before your case starts. So it was time for our case. So we went inside the court and I had seen him. I was sitting in the back row and he was sitting in, I think, like the middle or close to the front. And they were like, this case needs to move down to courtroom C or whatever. And I was like, oh, Lord. So he saw me. I saw him and I looked down. Like, I do not want to look at him. I'm already nervous. I'm scared. I'm still shooken up or whatever. I'm still shooken up. So we both walked down there to courtroom C. And mind you, I'm like, oh my God, this is him. Mind you, I haven't seen him in like, this happened in September. I hadn't seen him in 2 months. The court case was in November. And so we were walking down there to the courtroom and I'm walking real slow. And he's in front of me. He's like a couple of steps in front of me. So we're walking into the court. You know how there's like 2 big brown doors or whatever. There's a brown door and there's an opening and there's another brown door that you enter the court. So it's a brown door, and like I'm going in there. There's other people that moved down there. It wasn't just our case. And so he opened the door, and the door slammed on me. Like, he didn't hold the door for me at all. He knew I was right behind him. But I was like, okay, Ashley, I don't even care. I just want to get this over with and just move on with my life. Like I'm opening the door. He let one slam behind me. He opened the door, and he didn't hold any of the doors. So we came in, and we sat down. They called us up. I remember he was on the left. I was on the right. And the court. The judge, of course, he's in the, in the center. And he was like, Brian Mallory versus Ashley Princeton. Not gonna tell y'all my last name, but, that's what they called us up. I had my envelope and everything. And he was like, so what's going on, Miss Princeton? He was like, so how did y'all meet? I told him I met him online. And basically he was trying to get the rundown. So I was dating him for 3 months. And I decided I don't want to talk to him because I see that he's emotionally unstable, and I felt for my safety, so I cut him off. And when I cut him off the next day, he had we were supposed to be doing something. I told him the same thing I told y'all. We're supposed to be doing something the weekend, and I decided that I don't want to deal with him anymore. So I decided to block him and cut him off. And I found out the next day that he slashed my tires. And then he was like, "Mr. Mallory, did you slash Mrs. Princeton's tires?" And he was like, "Yes, I did." And he was like, "Well, why did you do that?" And he was like, "Because I felt like she played me." Out of all things that you could say in a court of law, you thought that I played you? I looked around like, are you serious? Like, you thought I played you? Wow. Okay. But long story short, he was like, Miss Princeton, can I see your documentation for your tires? He was like, which tires did he slash? I said, he slashed my driver's side and my back tire. And I said, I have pictures if you need to see that. But he didn't want to see that. He was like, so how much are your tires? And so he got his calculator out and started calculating. Even though I had gave him the documentation, I guess he did his own calculations or whatever. And it was 2 tires. So for my type of car, it was a compact car. I think it came up to like $400 and something. And he was like, hey, Mr. Mallory, do you have that today? And can you give that to Miss Princeton today? And he was like, yeah, yes, I have that today, Your Honor. And so the judge, like, kudos to this judge. He made him go to the ATM machine, come back, and hand me the money cash. That's exactly what he did. He went to the ATM machine. I waited. It took no longer than 10 minutes. He came back. He was like, all right, count it out to Miss Princeton. He counted out in front of me. And he was like, Miss Princeton, count it out to make sure it's exactly I think it was like $480. So I counted it out. Boom, 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 boom. Count. I said, yes, Your Honor, is correct. He gave it to me in an envelope. He was like, I'm going to give you, I forgot what he said. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell y'all. He was like, I see. He said, did he hit you or did he do anything? Now, the type of woman that I am, I wasn't going to lie, but I know some other woman, like if they really didn't like him, they would have been like, yeah, he hit me. And he could have went into jail that day for disorderly conduct. But I told the truth, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe in lying. I told the truth, and I told him just like it happened. I said, no, he didn't touch me. He didn't hit me. He just knocked on my door real hard like the police. Like I demonstrated how he knocked on the door. And he was like, okay, because that would have gave him some jail time today. And he would have got jail time. So, you know what I'm saying? I didn't lie. And I just told him what happened. So after he counted the money out to me and everything, he gave me the envelope. He was like, I'm going to give you, talking to Mr. Mallory, I'm going to give you, I guess, such and such time to not get in any trouble, no bad behavior. Of course, the judge was like, I have to deny your protective order or your restraining order because that was the first time that he was doing it, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, you come back on this date with good conduct or whatever, then we can drop the other charges. And I think they gave him a fine as well. Now, I don't remember. I zoned out after that because I was like, okay, I'm glad this is handled. I'm just ready for this to be over with. And basically he was like, okay, that's the end of the case. And he said, I'm gonna give you a copy, Miss Princeton, if you want to just keep track of everything. And I took the copies and everything, the documentation that he had said, you know, that was it. And he was like, all right, y'all have a nice day. He walked out first. I waited. I was trembling on the inside. I was shaking. Like I was nervous. Like, and I think the judge could see that I was nervous. So he walked first. I waited till, I don't know. I feel like I waited for like 5 minutes. That was the longest 5 minutes ever. I waited till he walked out, wait till he went around the corner or whatever. Then I walked out, and then I went out behind him or whatever, and you know, I went and I got into my car, and that's the end of the story. Like, but like, I ain't never have nobody slash my tires. I had some other crazy stuff happen, but that's another story time. Y'all be careful out here. Oh my God. Like, but ladies, make sure when you're getting to know someone, make sure you get their background checks, get to know the information, you know what I'm saying, know stuff about them. And the crazy thing about it, he never even came to my house before, only to pick me up. So for him to park and come up to my front door, like, I don't even think I would be here today telling this story. Thank God that he slashed my tires and he didn't slash me. But yeah, y'all go ahead and sound off in the comments what y'all think about the ending of this story time. I know it's crazy. And it's like, I don't know. I've always attracted crazy men. Like, I don't know. But that was when I was dating. I'm not currently dating right now, but that was during the time when I was dating. But thank y'all for watching. I will see y'all in another video. Bye.